Hello students, welcome to Target AES. In this video, I am going to continue with module number 16 of CPM topic, and we are going to study very interesting topic which is engineering equipment. See, this topic is decently important for your ESC exam, and whatever I am teaching you, right, it is more than enough. Don't go and waste your time reading any other source because it will be just waste of your time. Just watch this module and after that try to solve ESC question. You will be able to solve almost all questions. Okay. So if some questions come this year, I'm pretty much sure you will be able to solve after completing this module. And all other sources, they do so much blah blah blah. They teach so much nonsense. They start with so much theory. Engineering equipments are very important because they are really important. They are used for important works. That's why they are used in important construction work. Like this blah 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 is not at all needed. You can write it on your own. So let us stress on things which you don't know about engineering equipment. Okay? So we will study about the various classification, what are the various engineering equipments we have, and the basic science behind it. Okay. So basically one question which is frequently asked in ESC is about rim pull. Okay? Rim pull. Before going into that, let us talk about mechanics of our engineering equipment vehicles. Okay. When I'm talking about any vehicle, it could be a tractor, it could be a scraper, it could be a bulldozer, it doesn't matter. They are moving from one place to other place, right? So obviously we should talk about mechanics behind the movement of our vehicle. Okay, we should talk about mechanics of movement of our vehicle. See, this is basically mechanical engineering part. If you ask any mechanical engineer student, he will answer immediately. But for civil engineering, this is not at all needed. But as rim pull topic has been asked previously a lot of times, that's why I'm focusing on few important definitions which might help you in many other examinations. Okay, so the first one I want to discuss is traction or tractive force. Okay, see, it is a force used to generate motion between body and tangential surface. For example, when we are talking about vehicles, right? So this is a vehicle tire. Let us say this is my vehicle tire and this is the road surface. Okay, see, the force which this vehicle has to produce so that this vehicle can move, we are calling it as traction. Force used to generate motion between a body and tangential surface, what are we calling? We are calling tractive force. Why we need tractive force? Obviously there will be friction, right? Body ऐसे move नहीं होगा ना. If you apply force, will it move? No, right? We have to apply certain decent amount of force in order to make body move. I hope you are getting the concept, right? So how much is the tractive force? It will be very similar to that of frictional force. It will be equals to what was my frictional force? It was equals to mu into n, right? N was nothing but weight of vehicle. Mu was nothing but your resistance, frictional resistance. Similar to that, my tractive force, it will be nothing but R into W. Weight to same रहेगा, gross weight of vehicle, where R stands for rolling resistance here. Okay, very similar to that of mu, what you have studied in your school. Now here we are studying R, rolling resistance. Okay. So obviously the rolling resistance in soft earth will be more than rolling resistance in hard surface like concrete. Common sense की बात है. See, if you have a hard surface concrete road, on this the vehicle will move smoothly by applying same amount of traction work. Even if you are applying less amount of traction, the vehicle will move smoothly, right? If you have some rough road, obviously you have to apply more force in order to move your vehicle on such roads, right? Agreed or not? Why? Because the rolling resistance is more in soft earth compared to that of a hard earth like concrete. Therefore your traction force which you have to apply will also be more. Common sense की बात है. I hope you are getting the point, right? I hope you understood, right? Similarly, if the rolling resistance in broad thread low tire pressure will be more than rolling resistance in narrow thread high tire pressure. If the tire pressure is low, then you will be having flat tires, right? अगर flat tires रहेंगे कुछ इस तरह से, okay, let us say this is your flat tire. Okay, so what happened actually, your tire will be something like this, right? Your tire will be something like this. नीचे इतना area नहीं लगेगा, but if the pressure is less, more area will be touching the ground. So obviously here the resistance will be more compared to your narrow thread high pressure tire, something like this. Common sense की बात है. Obviously in this case what you have to do, you have to apply more traction force in order to make our vehicle move. I hope concept is clear, right? Now comes to grade resistance. I am talking about slopes. Okay, so when you are going up the slope, you have to apply more effort or less effort. Common sense की बात है, you have to apply more effort. If you are going down the hill, okay, if you are going down in this slope, will you have to apply less effort or more effort? You have to apply less effort. Even if you are applying less effort, it will move freely. Agreed or not? Agreed or not? Therefore, the effect of grade, what is it doing? It is increasing the grade resistance. See, you can clearly see the resistance is more. Therefore, more traction force should be applied in order to make your vehicle move in upward direction. Agreed? So what is happening to grade resistance? It is increasing for positive slope. And what is happening in downward slope, negative slope? It is decreasing. Therefore, even if you are applying less traction, the vehicle will easily move when it is going in downward direction. Concept is clear, right? So this whatever effect is there of grade resistance, right? Remember as a bit very important for SSC that the required traction effort or required tractive effort increases by 10 kg per gross ton of weight for each 1% change in grade. Okay, for each 1% change in grade, what is happening? Let us say you have a vehicle which is weighing 1 ton. Now you have to apply a tractive effort which is equivalent to the weight of vehicle as if 1010 kilos weight, because 1 ton is 1000 kilos, right? So if there is 1% change in your slope, then the weight will be almost equivalent to 1010 kg of your vehicle. Then you have to apply little more traction effort, right? I hope you are getting the point. So if your percentage change of grade is 10%, then what will happen? You have to apply as much as 1100 kg amount of tractive effort in order to move this vehicle upwards. Okay, the required tractive effort increases by 10 kg per gross ton of weight for each 1% change in grade. I hope you are getting this point, right? Now what is your total resistance? Now total resistance will be rolling resistance plus your grade resistance. Okay, and what will be your useful tractive effort? The tractive effort will be the available tractive effort, whatever tractive effort which you are giving, minus total resistance. If you are subtracting total resistance from your available tractive effort, you will be getting your useful tractive effort which is being applied in moving my vehicle from one point to other point. Okay, now there is one more definition, draw pull bar. It is just available pull which a crawler tractor can exert on a load that is being towed is called as drawbar pull of tractor. I will explain this again later on. Now come to the rim pull. Okay, rim pull is very important thing. Rim pull is very important thing. Give it 5 star. You have to understand this. See, it is the tractive force between rubber tires of driving wheels and surface. Obviously, we are talking about vehicles, right? So, क्या आ जाएगा? What will be the contact surface? The contact surface will be in between my driving wheels and your road surface. Okay, the tractive force whichever is being generated in between my rubber tires of driving wheels and surface, I am calling it as rim pull. And the maximum rim pull in kg, it has a formula which is nothing but 375 into horsepower into efficiency divided by speed, where speed is given in miles per hour. Very important, give it 5 star. Very important formula, 375 into horsepower into efficiency divided by speed. Generally the efficiency of tractor will be around 0.8 to 0.85. ठीक है? See, you can ask me, sir, ये तो formula काफी complicated लग रहा है, कैसे याद रखें? Because you won't be studying this more often, right? If you are studying once, you are good enough to go and write the examination. Then how to remember? See, we are talking about the real life physics, so you need not worry much about the formula. Then how to do this? Even if you don't know the formula, see, what is rim pull? Rim pull is nothing but the force. Okay, it is the tractive force between rubber tires and driving wheels. Okay, if you know the power, horsepower of a vehicle is given. HP क्या है? Horsepower of vehicle only, right? So if you know the power, then can't you find out force? Can't you find out force? Is it practical or not? See, what is the formula of power? Power is nothing but force into velocity. याद है ना आपको? I hope you remember. What is work done? Work done is force into distance. So power is nothing but work done divided by time, right? Work done per unit time. So divided by time कर लेना. So distance divided by time is nothing but your velocity. So force into velocity will be power. Common sense की बात है. Simple physics. I am telling you how to remember this or how to solve this question, engineering questions, by applying the concepts which you have studied in 8th class of your physics. Okay, maybe no one teaches this. Everyone will just teach यार 375 into horsepower into nu by speed. यही formula है, याद रख लो, dump कर दो exam में. But I am telling you the worst case, how to remember it or how to derive this, so that it will be very useful to you. Even if you forget the formula, this is how you have to do. So you know the power, right? Power is nothing but your force into velocity. So what will be your force? Force is nothing but power divided by velocity. If you know the velocity, see here also what is the formula? What is the formula? Let us compare the formula. It is 375 into horsepower into nu divided by speed in mph. Okay, so why you got the 375? Because the speed units and horsepower units he has to convert it. That's why he got 375, because only then you will be getting answer in kg. Okay, so if you are taking care of our units, then no need to remember that formula 375 blah blah blah. This is our formula. That's it. Force is equals to our power into power divided by velocity. If efficiency of vehicle is given, what you will do? You will just multiply your efficiency to get your force. More than enough. This will be your formula. Okay, so no need to write anything else. If you convert the units correctly, whatever units they have given, right, if you are converting correctly, you will be getting your answer in kg. Okay, just write down your answer in kg. That will be your force, or you can simply say that is your maximum rim pull. Now come to different types of earthwork equipment. The first equipment I want to discuss is about tractor. See, you know the tractor in real life, so I will not comment more on it. There are two types of crawlers based on how they are mounted. One is crawler tractor, other is wheel tractor. You know the wheel tractor, right? How it looks like. Now let us see crawler tractor. You might be knowing crawler tractor, right? Not a big deal. So this is how the crawler tractor looks like. You can Google it for even more images. Okay, so you can see the crawler tractor here, right? That's it. Instead of wheels, he will be having a crawler like this. Obviously, if you have a crawler, it has its own advantages and disadvantages also. Common sense ki baat hai, if you have wheels, it can go fast, right? If you have a crawler like this, obviously it will go a little bit slow, but it has its own advantages. For example, a crawler tractor can operate well on rocky formations because rubber tires are seriously damaged there. Okay, if you have a very hard, extremely hard road, if you are using rubber tires आपके जल्दी damage हो जाएगा. Whereas my crawler, my chain, it won't get that much damaged. Okay, I hope concept is clear, right? And what is maximum? What is useful rim pull which you have? Useful rim pull will be machine weight into coefficient of traction. If you want to remember, you can remember this as one of the bit. Now it is nothing but, right, you can choose. If there are 4 options given, you can easily choose. Okay, maximum rim pull, it is nothing but the force which is being generated, right? How much force you need minimum to move the vehicle, that will be machine weight into coefficient of traction. As simple as that, not a big deal. You will be able to choose the right answer. Now move on to the dozers. See, you know a lot of dozers, right? For example, bulldozer, how it looks like. Let us see. This is a bulldozer, right? What it does, it moves your earthwork or whatever is there. It is used for leveling work also. So whatever earthwork is there, it can move from one location to other location. Agreed or not? So such type of dozers let us study in detail. We can classify the dozers based on basis of mounting. For example, abhi to dekha tha crawler mounted dozers and wheeled dozers. Similar to that. Obviously it will have same advantages and disadvantages compared to that of our tractors also. Okay, so अगर crawler है तो slow जाएगा, wheel mounted dozers है तो fast जाएगा. It is easy to transport for long duration or long distance. Okay, and crawler mounted dozers exert very low pressure on ground, so it is useful on a soft soil. If you have a soft soil also, then this crawler, right, it's whatever load, right, it is being distributed on this large area. So obviously it won't exert very high pressure, it will exert very low pressure. So even if you have a soft soil, it will move freely. But what will happen if you have tire based dozers? See, this tire is taking all the vehicle load, right? So pressure is very high here, so it will get stuck in our soft soil. I hope you are getting the point, right? So where the earth is very soft, you can go for this crawler mounted dozers. Now let us classify based on our blade control. See, the blade whichever is there, blade yani, you can see here, right, there is a blade in front of our dozer. That blade you can control using a cable control or hydraulic control. Obviously when you are using hydraulic control, right, you can move this blade deep into our ground because lot of pressure is applied, right? High pressure is applied when you are using hydraulic control, so you can move the blades deep into ground. Okay, and blade performance, this can be a bit again asked in small examination. What is the unit of blade performance? Blade performance unit will be horsepower per foot of cutting edge. Remember, yaad rakh lena, horsepower per foot of cutting edge. Blades performance unit or horsepower per foot of cutting edge. Now move to the classification based on blades. Very important, give it first star. Very important. See, I have seen so many small examinations asking bits from this part. Classification based on blades. See, first one is a bulldozer. We have seen the bulldozer, right? ये तो diagram है bulldozer का. See, you can see this blade, whatever is there, right, it is perpendicularly aligned to my bulldozer, agreed or not? It is perpendicularly aligned. For example, this is my bulldozer. What is the direction? This is the direction, right? So where is my cutting blade? Cutting blade is somewhere here. Okay, cutting blade is somewhere here. You can clearly see it is perpendicular direction to the travel. If the bulldozer traveling like this, blade कहाँ पे है? Blade तो यहाँ पे लगा हुआ है. You can clearly see it is a perpendicular direction. Cutting blade is perpendicular to the direction of travel. It scraps soil and granular material, pushes it in front of blade, and also levels our excavated material. Okay, now there is one disadvantage for bulldozer. See, whatever material it is cutting, right, वो कहाँ पे रुकेगा? यहाँ पे ही रुकेगा ना, यहाँ पे ही रुकेगा. Now comes the angle dozer. What you are doing is you are just keeping this cutting blades, right? Instead of keeping perpendicular, you are making it some angle. You are making it some angle. अब देखना कैसा रहेगा. So this is my vehicle and my cutting blade is something like this. Okay, cutting blade is kept at an angle in the direction of travel. Angle will be nearly 25 degrees. Again, remember, important for small exams. Use it to push down the material. The material will be collected on one side of line of travel of dozers. So when you are traveling in this direction, whatever material which got cut, right, obviously क्या होगा? When it is moving in this direction, this material will be coming and accumulated on one side of your path. So you can continue like this, and whatever was there, right, this material, it will be moving and falling on one side of your path. Okay, I hope you are getting this point right. So this is the advantage of angle dozers. Similarly, we have tilt dozers. Here blades are tilted. So one side, if this is the front face of blade, instead of keeping 100% on the ground, we will be lifting it a bit. We will be lifting it a bit, something like this. Okay, so one end of the blade is raised up to 25 centimeter with respect to other end. This is used for excavation of hard soil. Okay? Then comes the push dozers. If you don't have any cutting blade, if you have a blade which is just perpendicular, okay, no cutting edge, just to push, we will be calling it as push dozers. It has a horizontal blade called as pusher blades. Now comes the tree dozer. For removing trees and uprooting stems, we will be using this tree dozer. नाम में लिखा हुआ है tree dozer. ठीक है, this is everything about the dozers and very important part. Now comes the formula. See, output related to bulldozers. You will be seeing so many formula like this. Output is equals to related mold board capacity in loose volume by swell factor into actual operation time in minutes per hour divided by time required per trips in minutes. So whatever is given, I will tell you a simple logic how to solve any question related to output of our vehicle. The first thing what you have to understand is what is the output. What is the use of bulldozer? To move certain volume of soil. Agreed? To move certain volume of soil from one place to other place. So how will you measure output of bulldozer? Obviously volume of material which you are transporting per hour. Okay, if you are working this bulldozer for 1 hour, how much volume it can move from one place to other place? In this 1 hour, it could do many trips. Okay, from position 1 to position 2, it will come back, it will go and go, it will come, it will go back again, it will start pushing material, again it will go back. So like that it can go many cycles. But what is my output? Output will be measured in volume which has been collected in an hour. Okay, I hope concept is clear, right? So now how to get your output of any vehicle? It will be as simple as trips per hour. Number of trips this bulldozer has gone in 1 hour into mold board capacity. Okay, trips per hour into mold board capacity. If the mold board capacity is, let us say, 1 meter cube. Mold board capacity is 1 meter cube. Okay, and you have done 30 trips per hour. 30 trips per hour. तो कॉमन सेंस की बात है, इफ मोल्ड कैपेसिटी इज 1 मीटर क्यूब एंड यू आर मूविंग 30 टाइम्स फ्रॉम पोजिशन ए टू पोजिशन बी, सो हाउ मच विल बी प्रेजेंट एट पोजिशन बी? ऑब्वियसली 1 मीटर क्यूब is cutting there, so 30 such rotations, so 30 into 1, that will be 30 meter cube will be present here after 1 hour. Agreed or not? Similar to that, trips into net mold board capacity, you will be getting 30 meter cube per hour. So this is your output. अगर आप ये भी करोगे तो आंसर यही आएगा. So what you have to do is, if any swell factor is given, just divide by it. Okay, so if you have any swell factor given, divide by it, you will be getting your answer. ठीक है, I hope you got the concept right. No need to worry much. सिंपल है ना कॉन्सेप्ट. नंबर ऑफ ट्रिप्स पर आवर इंटू नेट मोल्ड बोर्ड कैपेसिटी. If swell factor is given, you can divide it by swell factor. That's it. That will be your answer. Okay. Please make a note. I hope you are perfect now. I hope you will be able to solve very complex question without using blah 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 formula within 5 or 10 seconds. Now let us move to power shovel. You might have seen several such equipment, right? In real life also power shovel. आपने देखा होगा JCB कहते हैं ना, JCB. JCB is also a type of power shovel only. In India we use this term very frequently. JCB. वो क्या है? वो भी तो पावर शॉवेल ही है. इट इज़ अ टाइप ऑफ पावर शॉवेल. वी कॉल इट एज हो. ओके, so we'll study this in detail, not a big deal. See, what is the use of it? For hard ground digging we use this power shovel. Okay, there will be a dipper, and from this dipper you can excavate whatever hard rock you have. You can excavate using this. Okay, so for hard digging above track level and for loading units, you can dig it and load it to another equipment. Okay, you can just load it to other equipment. यहाँ पे कुछ और equipment रहेगी, like it might be a truck, dumping truck. So in this truck he will load it. Okay, but it cannot dig rocks without prior loosening. First you have to loosen the rock, and after loosening whatever rocks are there, it can lift and dump it into nearby truck. So size of shovel, whatever is there, right? This size of shovel, it is size of bucket of tipper, and the units will be in meter cube. What is output of shovel? Same रहेगा. If swelling factor is nothing given, basically swelling factor will not be given. What is your answer? The number of trips per hour into कैपेसिटी और साइज ऑफ बकेट ऑफ टिपर. एज सिंपल एज दैट. अगर स्वेलिंग फैक्टर देता है तो यहाँ पे थोड़ा फॉर्मूला कॉम्प्लिकेटेड हो जाता है. सो यूज द सेम थिंग बट जस्ट डिवाइड बाय 1 प्लस स्वेलिंग फैक्टर. ओके, नंबर ऑफ ट्रिप्स पर आवर इंटू कैपेसिटी ऑफ बकेट और साइज ऑफ बकेट, वॉट एवर इज देयर, साइज ऑफ बकेट डिवाइडेड बाय 1 प्लस स्वेलिंग फैक्टर कर लेना. 1 प्लस स्वेलिंग फैक्टर. So you will be getting your output of power shovel. Answer will be in meter cube per hour. Okay, that is nothing but volume per hour. Let me show you diagram. So you can see here like shovel. See what is the difference between shovel and power shovel and hoe. Generally power shovel का bucket देखो, it will be in U shape, right? So it will be in U shape. You can see power shovel here clearly how it is. How is the bucket? You can clearly see. Just give me a second. Let me erase this. Yeah. So you can clearly see, right? So it is something like this. Okay. But when it comes to JCB, how it will be something like this. ये यहाँ पे आएगा. So it will be something like this. Bucket will be something like this. Agreed? तो वो भी देखेंगे. Not a big deal. I will show you. But you got it right. In shovel, basically your bucket will be like that. And when it comes to our JCB or hoe equipment, English में हम क्या कहते हैं? hoe. It you can clearly see reverse रहेगा. You can clearly see, right? ऊपर से नीचे आ रहा है. Okay, ऊपर से नीचे आ रहा है. But whereas in our power shovel, नीचे से हम ऊपर एक्सकैवेट कर रहे हैं. यूजिंग केबल वी आर लिफ्टिंग दिस यू शेप बकेट अपवर्ड्स. whereas here using this cable or hydraulic pump, whatever, right, we are lifting it like this. Okay, I hope concept is clear, right? So that is about our power shovel. Now comes the drag line. कहाँ पे यूज़ करते हैं? It also looks almost similar to that of power shovel, but it will have a very long hoist. See, one more thing, do me one favor, ये जो पावर शोवेल का इक्विपमेंट जो भी है ना, पार्ट्स जो भी है ना, मेक अ नोट ऑफ इट. ओके, बूम, hoist line, this dipper, stick dipper, obviously you can see it and understand, right, what is the use of it, but make a note of it on your own. Okay, एक बार गूगल करके लिख लेना what is the purpose of boom, dipper, hoist line. Okay, obviously what does hoist line do? It will rise your bucket up. Okay, I hope you got it right. So like that, once make note of all the units which you are having in our power shovel. It might be important. Now come to the drag line. सेम पावर शोवेल जैसे ही दिखेगा, मगर ये जो हॉइस्ट केबल रहेगी ना वो काफ़ी लंबा रहेगा. ओके, योर बूम विल बी वेरी बिग. ये जो रहेगा ना सॉलिड पार्ट, इट विल बी वेरी बिग. इट विल बी यूज्ड डायरेक्टली टू ट्रांसपोर्ट योर लोड फ्रॉम वन पॉइंट टू अदर पॉइंट. बेसिकली डैम्स में यूज़ करते हैं, एम्बार्कमेंट्स बनाने में यूज़ करते हैं. सी, इन पावर शोवेल व्हाट यूज्ड टू डू, यू यूज्ड टू डिग and you will dump it in a dumping truck, and this dumping truck will take to a new location and dump it there. But this whatever is there, our drag cable, our drag line, right, it is such a big thing, it will excavate and directly turn, and wherever needed, right, वो सीधा वहाँ पे डाल देगा. It will be such a big equipment. I hope you are getting the point, right? So this is how a drag line looks like. Basically इस तरह का कंस्ट्रक्शन इक्विपमेंट आपको कोल माइंस, क्वेरीज, उस जगह पे आपको इस तरह का मिलेगा. ठीक है. So this is nothing but drag line. Now let us continue with clamshell. I hope you know the clamshell, right? It is just combination of the drag line and crane in common. Okay, it will serve both the purpose of drag line as well as crane. See, in drag line what you used to do, you used to just, it cannot lift to the greater height. It can rotate and dump it some other place very far. But if you want to lift very height at a very height, what is the use of crane? It can lift up to a very height level, right? So if a drag line is able to lift to a very height, we will be generally calling it as a clamshell. I will show you the diagram. So this is how a clamshell looks like. So the equipment will be such that you can raise it to a very high level. Okay, so it serves as both purpose of drag line as well as clamshell. And how the clamp will look like, you know how the clamp looks, right? It will be something like this. You can see here bucket. So you can close like this and lift the soil upwards. Okay, and you can lift the soil upwards, something like it. You can see a clear image. So the jaws, whatever are there, right? You can get them close and you can lift it to a very high level. Okay, so this is about our clamshell. It serves as purpose of both drag line and crane. Okay, combination of both रहता है. Ho we have just talked about it. It is nothing but we generally call JCB, जो भी हम कहते हैं इंडिया में, it is a hoe only thing. It resembles a garden hoe, right? Something like this. Stick रहते हैं जिससे हम पत्ते निकालते हैं. So that's why the bucket resembles such a hoe. That's why we are calling it as a hoe. As simple as that. Okay, so it is a group of power shovel group only. It is a equipment of power shovel group only. Now comes the scraper. See, scraper नाम ही कह रहा है, it is used to scrap the ground and load it simultaneously. At the simultaneously what it will do, it will scrap whatever earth material is there, it will transport to a new location and dump it there. As simple as that. And what is the output of scraper? Same formula आप use कर लेना. Number of trips per hour into what is the unit? Volume per trip. Because my unit should be meter cube per hour. Just do this, you will be getting your answer. See, if efficiency is given, multiply the efficiency, you will be getting your answer. याद रखना, if you see some efficiency, multiply with that. And here the formula is something very complex. 60/D दिया है. Do not worry. Here T is cycle time per trip in minutes. Okay, if cycle time is 2 minutes, then in 1 hour how many trips you will go? In 1 hour you will go 60 trips, because cycle time is 2 minutes. It needs 2 minutes to go from point A to point B and come back. That is one cycle time. So if it is 2 minutes, in 60 minutes how many trips you will go? 30 trips. As simple as that. So number of trips per hour will be 30 into your volume of the scraper, whatever you are scrapping, that will be your answer. As simple as that. Okay, so please be careful with the swell factor. Most of the question, 99% of the question, swell factor won't be given. If swell factor is given, you have to be careful, because in power shovel it was divided by 1 by W, or 1 by swell factor, 1 plus swell factor. Here it is into swell factor. Okay, here it is 1 into swell factor. So एक बार swell factor कहाँ पे भी आता है, आप एक बार याद रख लेना. Whether you have to divide it or multiply it, more than enough, you will be able to answer all the questions, all the problems. Now basically in equipments which you are using, right, you can classify it as hoisting equipment and hauling equipment. Hoisting, see, any word you remember about hoisting? Flag hoisting देते हैं ना, flag hoisting. Okay, what is hoisting? Hoisting is nothing but raising. Flag hoisting means flag raising. Okay, you can relate it, right? So whenever you see hoisting, right, that means rising equipment. Okay, hauling equipment means pushing equipment. यार common sense की बात है. If you remember hoisting means rising, then you can obviously remember hauling means pulling or dragging. As simple as that. Okay, there are two types of equipment. Rising equipment is hoisting, pulling or dragging equipment is hauling. Now coming to hoisting equipment, already hauling equipment हमने देखा है ना अभी. So let us see hoisting equipment. See, hoisting equipment, we have pulleys. Okay, in pulleys we use ropes, right, and with the help of ropes we'll raise it. Instead of ropes we can use chains also. Chain hoist बन जाएगा. Jacks, winches, cranes. What is winches? यार winch काफी simple चीज है. You might have visited railway gates, right? At railway gates there will be one such big thing. How you will raise this rod? Obviously there will be some lever, right? There will be some lever. और lever lower करते ये rod क्या हो जाएगा? ऊपर चली जाएगा. I hope you remember, right? Railway gates. So winch is a combination of gates, clutches and brakes which is operated through series of lever. Okay? So there will be series of lever. गेट में ना के ये दबा देगा, ये नीचे ऊपर करेगा, घुमाएगा, ये सीधा ऊपर चले जाएगा. Okay? I hope you remember. Railway gates के पास हम यूज करते हैं winch. Now comes to the cranes. Only part which you have to remember here or read here is cranes. See, there are two types of crane. One is mobile crane, अदर इज टावर क्रेन. नाम ही कह रहा है टावर क्रेन काफी हाइट रहेगा. टावर क्या रहता है? टावर का काफी हाइट रहता है. टावर मीन्स सम हाई वेरी हाइट वाला स्ट्रक्चर. अग्रीड. सो व्हेन आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट टावर क्रेन्स, राइट, इट विल बी ऑल्सो वेरी हाई. Now coming to mobile cranes, the cranes which can move, we will be calling them as mobile cranes, as simple as that. So cranes are basically of two types. One is cranes which can move, or mobile cranes. Cranes which can lift load to a very height, we are calling them as tower cranes. See, use your common sense. Use your common sense. If there is a rock, let us say of 5 kg, you will lift it to a higher height, or if there is a rock of 50 kg, you will lift it to a higher height. Okay, so you imagine you are standing here, and will you lift to the higher height 5 kg rock or 50 kg rock? See, 5 kg rock you can lift it, no issues. 50 kg rock, can you lift it like that? Is it practical? You are not WWE wrestler, right? So obviously you cannot lift it. So I hope you are getting right. If there is some light load, you can lift it to a higher heights. Okay, similarly for tower cranes, we can lift lighter loads compared to that of mobile loads. वो भी काफी high रहेगा, okay, in hundreds of kilos. But compared to mobile cranes, the load which you are lifting, right, it will be lighter. So tower cranes uses lighter loads compared to that of mobile cranes. So these are the some bits which you have to remember. Okay, you have to relate, only then you can remember, right? Or else this is not the topic which you will be revising 10 times before examination. आप फॉर्मूला याद करोगे, कॉन्सेप्ट एक ही बार पढ़ोगे ना. So once I make sure that once you are listening to me, you are good enough, and go and write your ESC exam. Okay, एक बार बाद में पढ़ लेना काफी है, more than enough. Now come to the mobile cranes. Mobile cranes is again of 3 types. One is crawler type. Second one is telescopic boom truck mounted cranes, and lattice boom truck mounted cranes. Lattice boom truck mounted cranes. So crawler cranes, you can obviously imagine, right? Crawling chain रहेगी. Obviously full revolving superstructure mounted on pair of continuous parallel collars, we call it as crawling crane. He is saying full revolving, यानी 360 degrees घूम सकता है. So here they will be having crawling chains. On this structure you will be having crane, and this crane can rotate 360 degrees. I hope you are getting the point, right? Next is the telescopic boom truck mounted crane. See, this can travel on highways also. It does not need any assembling or dispatching of parts to operate. So directly it can travel on highways without removing any of its part. Okay, without removing any of its part, this telescopic boom can travel. When I am talking about lattice boom, right, वो थोड़ा ज़्यादा लंबा रहेगा, and it cannot travel like that. What you have to do? You have to disable it, deassemble it. Okay, you have to remove some of the parts, and then you have to move it to a new location and again reassemble. Okay, crane mounted on multi-axle trun, it is lightweight. It has to deassemble, move to the new place, and then reassemble. I hope you are getting right. If it is one time fixed, telescopic boom. If you have to disable and move to the new location, lattice boom. बस इतना ही आपको याद रखना है, ठीक है. Next, tower cranes, I have told you. It takes very less space but provide good lifting heights and good working radius. Okay, it lifts very high, so lifting capacity is less and mobility is also less. See, similar to that of cranes, we have some other names of cranes also. Derrick crane. So you use it for hoisting and is very tall. Hoisting, you know, right? What is hoisting? Flag hoisting याद रख लेना. Raising, okay. Use it for raising and is very tall. Derrick crane काफी लंबा रहता है. Whirler crane, important term है. Whirler crane, it is combination of tower crane and mobile crane. Okay, so it serves as a purpose of both tower crane and mobile crane. याद रख लेना. And gantry crane. Gantry crane is something which you often see in factories. It can serve a 3-way movement of loads. Okay, you can move the load in 3 ways. So basically, I cannot draw here on paper, but this is something which you frequently see in almost all factories. Yeah. So I try to draw it. I will try to draw it something like this. Okay, something like this रहेगा. And here you will be having, here you will be attaching load. So this load, it can go up, it can come like this also. Okay, it can go like this also. Almost all 3 dimensions it can go. It can lift, it can come in this direction, it can go in this direction. Okay, so all 3 direction movement is possible. अब कहाँ पे drop करना है वहाँ जाके drop करेगा. Gantry crane. So if you get into railway department, obviously workshop में आपको बहुत देखने को मिलेगा ये gantry crane. Okay, or at dam construction site, this is mandatory. Yeah, this is mandatory one. Gantry crane, you are definitely going to work with it in your future. Now come to earth compaction equipment. See, this is similar to what we have studied in soil mechanics. No need to read much. So if you have completed soil mechanics from me, you are already perfect in this topic. Okay, let us go very fast because I have already taught it in soil mechanics. See, how can you compact? You can compact by impact, that is by giving blows, or by pressure, static weight. For example, road roller ho gaya. What does road roller do? It applies a lot of pressure. All this weight of roller is being applied on the soil, so obviously it is getting compacted because of pressure. Next is the vibration. Okay, we have so many vibrators, right, to compact the soil. So basically in sands we will be using it. Next is the kneading. Kneading yani massaging or squeezing. Okay, it is combination of massaging and squeezing. So to make atta, what you will be doing, you will be mixing atta, right, flour properly. So if you have some flour, to make it atta, to make roti, what you will be doing, so you will be first massaging your flour as well as squeezing the flour, right, you will be squeezing the flour. So these combinations we are calling it as kneading. Okay, so basically I have given a table for which what type of compaction would be better. If you are talking about gravel, right, because kneading would be, it doesn't have any excellent thing. Okay, anything is okay, but pressure it won't work fine for gravel. Next is the sand vibrator is excellent because sand will not have cohesion, right, so it doesn't have any intermolecular forces of attraction. I have taught you very well, right, so easily it will compact if you are using vibrators. Next is silt very good will be kneading. Okay, if you are kneading for clay or silt, it will be good. See, clay also it will be good only kneading, but even by impact also you can do this for clays. Okay, so this is how this all thing you can remember. Sheep foot roller, right, I have already told you it will have kneading action, both squeezing as well as massaging wala type. Okay, there are some other rollers I have used. You can clearly see, right, tamping roller is also kneading action, yeah, but it is non-vibratory type of roller which can work at very high speed. Okay, so we have vibrating compactors, smooth drum vibrating soil compactors. एक बार देख लेना, काफी ज़्यादा है. Pneumatic tide rollers, so you know this. Now let us see concreting equipment. See, very simple part, you already know, you have seen this in your real life, so थोड़ा fast जाऊँगा. Already finished in building materials, so let us see it fast. What is the concreting equipment which you first see? First you will be seeing mixture only, right? So concrete mixtures, see, there are two type of mixtures. One is batch mixture, continuous mixture. Name itself is clearly saying continuous mixture. It produces continuous concrete without any break. Whereas our batch mixtures and discharges each load of material separately. Okay, so chota karega batch mixture. If you have lot of concreting work to do, you will go for continuous mixture. This batch mixture is again of two types. One is tilting type and non-tilting type. So basically for large projects you will be seeing there will be a truck carrying this batch mixture tilting type wala, and it will do this whatever mixing is there, right, it is done in this tilting type wala batch mixture. Okay, so there will be a drum on a truck, you might have seen, right. Non-tilting type will be a small equipment at your residential homes. So in this drum it will be something like this. In this the concrete will be mixed, right. So basically non-tilting type will be used in small projects, and tilting type it will be used in large projects, and basically aggregate size will be greater than 7.5 centimeters. Here in non-tilting type particle size will be, or aggregate size will be less than 7.5 centimeter. Next is paving mixtures. See, paving mixtures have an advantage of moving very fast and placing of concrete simultaneously. Okay, basically naam hi keh raha hai, paving, that's why it is used for highways and runways. Okay, pavement, so obviously it is related to highways and runways. So for both mobility of mixture and placement of concrete we can use this paving mixtures. Now come to the concrete compaction. Yeah, you are masters in this. I need not teach you anything. First one is stamping. So what you do, you will take a rod, and using that rod you will do this concrete compaction. Okay, so obviously you will compact it in 15 centimeter concrete. If I am talking about mass concreting in RCC, 30 centimeter layer loge, and then you will apply this compaction. Next is vibrators. See, first there are lot of vibrators. There are 3-4 types of vibrators. The first one is internal vibrator, very important, or needle vibrator. So you will be having a concrete. So there will be a big tube. At the end of this tube, right, there will be a vibrator. So what it will do for mass concreting work, especially in dams, mass concrete जहाँ पे भी use करोगे आप, so there will be a long tube. At the bottom of tube there will be this vibrator, and this vibrator will be used in compacting our mass concrete work. Okay, it has a long tube. At one end of this vibrator is attached. Next is the external vibrator. Okay, obviously if you are unable to do this needle vibration, right, If your concrete section is so small, then you cannot send the needle inside. That's not practical, okay, or else your structure will fail. So when section is thin and heavily reinforced, you will be going for external vibration, okay, where penetration is not possible. Next comes the surface vibration. In surface vibrators, what will be, it is also called as screed or pan vibrators, okay, it is called as screed or pan vibrators. Screed means to bring uniform top surface grade, we will be doing screeding, right? The same thing. Screed or pan vibrators affect only up to 15 to 20 centimeter. From top it will be affecting only up to 15 to 20 centimeter. Next is a vibrating table. See, vibrating table will be used only for stiff and harsh mixes, used for laboratory specimen only. So you won't be using it in our construction industry. Basically we will be going for needle if we are going for mass work, mass concreting work, or you will be going for external vibration. As simple as that. There are some other methods of vibration also, recent developments. So let us see this vibro pressing. See, both name itself is saying it has both vibration and pressing. That means pressure, external pressure is being applied, at the same time vibration is also taking place. So vibration from bottom and external pressure from top is being applied. Next is shock or jolting. Basically for precast concreting you will be doing this jolting, okay. For precast concreting, jolting action is done. Next is centrifugation. You know this centrifugation, right? क्या करोगे? At very high speed you will be rotating this concrete, and excess water जो भी रहेगा it will be expelled out of this mix, and you will be getting your compacted concrete, okay. Compaction is by centrifugal forces used in water type structures like pipes. Next is air jets, okay. Air is driven out of concrete using these air jets, and particles will come close and get compacted. As simple as that. This ends the topic. And make a note, please make one small note, and then I will end it, okay. So make a small note. If we are talking about earthwork equipments, right, there is a relation between horsepower, temperature and barometric pressure, that is atmospheric pressure. You can say P naught, right? Barometric pressure, लिख लेना, barometric pressure. So what is it? Your H naught root T naught by P naught is equals to H1 root T1 by P1, okay. H1 root T1 by P1. So you can clearly see your H naught is directly proportional to P naught, and it will be inversely proportional to 1 by root of T naught, okay. So I hope you will remember this. You can use this equation in any of the questions which he is relating barometric pressure P naught, temperature, and your H naught, or you can say horsepower HP, up to you, okay. So this is the equation which you have to remember. H naught root T naught by P naught is equals to H1 root T by P1. Now I am pretty much sure that you will be able to answer all the ESC questions. Just read my notes again, and I hope you will be successful in your ESC examinations, okay. Have a nice day. See you in next module.